My wife snapped. Seriously? You want family therapy? How about you get real parents first? Mocking my adoption. I said, great idea. When my biological parents' private investigator found me along with my inheritance. I, 34 male, am sitting in my car outside a lawyer's office, hands still shaking. Just need to get this out while it's fresh. Been married to Mallory, 32, for 6 years. Together for 9 total. The marriage has been rocky lately. Not gonna sugarcoat it. We've been having problems for about a year now. Money stress, her spending habits, my work hours, the usual stuff that piles up. Last month, I suggested couples therapy. Thought maybe a neutral third party could help us communicate better. Her response was to laugh and say therapy was for broken people. Fast forward to 3 nights ago. We got into it again about her maxing out her credit card on online shopping. I brought up therapy again, specifically said we needed family therapy to work on our communication and respect issues. That's when she snapped. Seriously? You want family therapy? How about you get real parents first? Maybe if you knew where you came from, you'd understand how real families work, instead of playing pretend with those people who picked you up from wherever. Those people. My adoptive parents who raised me from 6 months old, who never once made me feel less than their biological son, who died in a car accident when I was 22. I just stared at her. In 9 years, she'd never once thrown my adoption in my face. Never. She kept going. What are you going to tell the therapist? That your mommy and daddy issues stem from being unwanted? That someone literally gave you away? At least I know my real family. I walked out, grabbed my keys, my work laptop, and left. She screamed after me that I was proving her point, running away like everyone in your life has. Stayed at a hotel that night. The next morning, I did something I'd never considered before. I contacted an adoption search agency. See, I'd always been curious about my biological parents, but my adoptive parents were my real parents in every way that mattered. Never felt the need to search. But Mallory's words kept echoing. Get real parents first. Fine. I'll get some answers. The agency said it could take months or years to find anything. I paid the $500 retainer fee and gave them all the information I had, which wasn't much. The adoption was closed, done through a private agency that shut down in 2008. That was Tuesday. It's Friday now. This morning I got a call from an unknown number. Almost didn't answer. Mr. My last name? My name is Patricia Holworth. I'm a private investigator. I've been looking for you for 12 years. My biological grandmother hired her when she was diagnosed with terminal cancer. She wanted to find me before she died. She passed away 3 years ago, but the PI was paid to keep searching by my biological parents' estate. Both my biological parents died when I was 4. Car accident. Ironic, right? They were 18 and 19 when they had me. Gave me up because their parents forced them to. They got married 2 years later, planned to find me when they turned 21 and could access their trust funds. Never got the chance. Here's the kicker. They left me everything in their will. Everything they couldn't give me in life, they tried to give me in death. The estate has been in limbo for 30 years, waiting for me to be found. It's not millions or anything crazy, but it's a house, needs work but fully paid off, about $180,000 in various accounts that have been growing interest, and a storage unit full of things they saved for me. Letters they wrote every birthday until they died. Photos. They bought baby clothes for the child they hoped to reunite with. The investigator has documents, DNA test to confirm, which I agreed to, and a lawyer who's been managing the estate. Haven't told Mallory yet, haven't been home. She sent exactly 3 texts. Stop being dramatic. Your silence is childish. Don't forget we have dinner with my parents Sunday. No apology. No concern. Just demands. The lawyer wants to meet Monday to start the transfer process. The house is in another state, but it's in a decent area. Could sell it or rent it out. I'm thinking about that house. About parents who loved me but couldn't keep me. About parents who chose me and loved me completely. And about a wife who thinks neither of those loves were real enough. Guess I need to make some decisions. Update 1, met with the estate lawyer Monday. Everything checks out. The DNA test confirmed it, rushed results, the estate paid for it. The money is real, the house is real, and there are boxes of letters and photos in that storage unit. The lawyer, Mr. Brenneman, has been managing this estate for 3 decades. He teared up when he met me. Said my biological parents were good kids who made one mistake, getting pregnant at 17 and 18, and their parents forced the adoption. The minute they turned 21 and got married, they started looking for me. Set up their wills to make sure I'd get everything if something happened to them. 2 months later, they died coming home from meeting with an adoption attorney. Brenneman gave me a letter they wrote when they updated their will. To our son, if you're reading this, it means we didn't get to say it in person. We love you. We've loved you every day since we had to let you go. We hope you had a beautiful life with your family. We hope you were loved. We hope you're happy. All we can give you now are the things we couldn't then. A home, security, and proof that you were wanted. You were always wanted. Mom and Dad, Lillian and Christopher. I sat in my car and cried for an hour, went home that evening to get more clothes. Mallory was there furious. Where the hell have you been? My parents were expecting us. You humiliated me. I told her I'd been handling some personal business. What personal business? You don't have any family business to handle. That's when I told her. About the PI, the biological parents, the inheritance. Her entire demeanor changed. Suddenly she's hugging me, crying about how sorry she is for what she said, how she was just stressed, how this is such a blessing for us. We can sell that house and pay off my student loans. And my car. Oh my God, we could take that trip to Europe I've always wanted. I pulled back. Your student loans that you took out for the degree you never finished? Our debt, honey. We're married. The debt you accumulated before we got married? That's not how that works. Her face changed again. Are you seriously going to be petty about this? After everything I've put up with? Put up with? Your emotional distance, your weird thing about boundaries, the way you always take your dead parents' side. My parents who raised me? Whatever. The point is, this is a fresh start for us. We can go to therapy with this money. Now you want therapy? When there's money involved? She tried to backtrack, but I was done. Told her I was staying at a hotel while I figured things out. She threatened divorce. I said, okay. Then she said the magic words, you won't get away with hiding assets. I'll get half of everything. My lawyer will make sure of it. Here's the thing. Inheritances are separate property in our state, not marital assets, especially inheritances from before the knowledge of them even existed. Mr. Brenneman already confirmed this. But Mallory doesn't know that yet. Update 2. Mallory went nuclear. First, she tried love bombing. Flowers delivered to my hotel. Long texts about our beautiful memories and how she's ready to work on us. She even signed up for individual therapy and sent me screenshots of the confirmation. When I didn't respond for 48 hours, she switched tactics. She called my employer claiming I was having a mental breakdown and needed a wellness check. Thankfully, my boss knows me well enough to call me directly. Explain the situation. He was understanding and documented her call as harassment. Then she tried to access my bank accounts. Apparently went to our bank branch with our marriage certificate demanding access to our assets. The bank called me to verify. I immediately opened new accounts at a different bank and moved everything. But here's where she really overplayed her hand. She contacted the PI, Patricia Holworth. Somehow found her number, probably from going through my email before I changed passwords, and called her pretending to be handling things for her husband who's too emotional to deal with this. Patricia, bless her, has dealt with enough sketchy people to smell BS immediately. She recorded the call, legal in her state, and sent it to me. Mallory asked how much the estate was really worth, if there were any other assets not disclosed yet, if she could get copies of all documents as the spouse, whether the biological grandparents left anything additional. Patricia told her all communication had to go through me or my lawyer. Mallory lost it, screaming that she had rights as a wife and that Patricia was enabling financial abuse. Patricia hung up and immediately called me and Mr. Brenneman. That's when I knew I had to file for divorce first. Filed yesterday. Mallory was served this morning at work. She exploded my phone. 73 texts in 2 hours. Everything from how could you to I'll destroy you to please just talk to me to you owe me 6 years. The best ones. That money is mine too. Your dead parents would be ashamed. Which ones, Mallory? You're nothing without me. Good luck finding someone who'll put up with your abandonment issues. Then she made her biggest mistake. She went on social media, posted a sob story about her mentally ill husband who abandoned her after coming into money, tagged my workplace, tagged mutual friends, said I was having a breakdown after being manipulated by strangers claiming to be related to him. She actually wrote, "He's chosen money over our marriage. He's so damaged from being given away as a baby that he can't form real attachments. I tried to help him, but you can't fix someone who was literally unwanted from birth. Now he's hiding assets and leaving me with nothing after I spent 6 years trying to heal his trauma." Screenshots saved, sent to my lawyer. My lawyer, different from the estate lawyer, is thrilled. She gave him everything he needs for a defamation case on top of the divorce. But wait, there's more. Remember that storage unit with my biological parents' things? I finally went to see it last week. Among the heartbreaking letters and photos, there was a safety deposit box key with a note, "For our son's future." The box had been paid for 30 years in advance. Inside, my biological grandmother's engagement ring, worth about $15,000 according to the appraisal, and a letter from her. "My dear grandson, I forced my daughter to give you up. It was the greatest regret of my life. She cried every day for a year. When she died, I knew it was my fault. She was driving back from meeting a lawyer to find you. I spent my last years trying to undo my mistake. This ring was meant for Lillian to give to her daughter-in-law someday. She would want you to have it for someone who loves you for exactly who you are. Not where you came from, not what you have, but who you are. I hope you find that person. I hope you forgive us. All my love, Grandmother Ruth." Yeah, Mallory's never seen that ring. Final update. The divorce is final. Mallory fought hard. She hired 3 different lawyers, fired 2 when they told her she had no claim to the inheritance. She tried everything. Claimed I hid assets, investigated and dismissed. Claimed emotional abuse, no evidence. Claimed abandonment, I left after she verbally abused me. Demanded alimony, denied she works full-time. The social media post came back to bite her hard. My lawyer used it as evidence of defamation and malicious intent. Her own words admitting she knew about my adoption trauma and used it against me. The judge was not impressed. Final settlement. She got exactly what she was entitled to, half of our joint savings, about $3,000, and her own debt. I kept my inheritance, my 401k, and my sanity. She tried one last manipulation at the courthouse. Came up crying, saying she just wanted to talk. Said she'd been in therapy and realized she was triggered by my adoption because her dad abandoned their family when she was young. "I was projecting," she said. "I was scared you'd leave me like everyone else has. So you pushed me away by mocking the most painful part of my life? I didn't mean it. You know I loved your parents." "Which ones?" "The ones you called not real, or the dead ones you said abandoned me." She started to answer, but her lawyer pulled her away. That was 6 weeks ago. Since then, sold the inherited house for $280,000. Market went up in that area. Put most of the money in retirement and investments. Kept $50,000 for a down payment on a small condo near work. Started actual therapy to deal with everything. Last week, Mallory sent a letter through her lawyer. She's pregnant, says it's mine, wants to work things out for the baby. Timeline doesn't work. We haven't been intimate in 4 months. I was at a hotel, then the divorce proceedings. Did the math. She would have gotten pregnant after I left. My lawyer responded requesting a paternity test when the baby's born. Her lawyer responded that his client was reconsidering her options. Haven't heard anything since. Meanwhile, I've been reading those letters from my biological parents. Every birthday, every Christmas for 4 years. They wrote about their dreams for me, their hopes that I was happy, their plans to find me. One line keeps sticking with me from my biological father. "I hope you never doubt that you were loved, by the parents who raised you and by us who couldn't. Love multiplies, it doesn't divide." Mallory was wrong. I had real parents. 2 sets of them, actually. All of them loved me in their own ways, with their own limitations. And you know what? That's more than she ever did. Small update. Been a year, figured I'd give a final update. Mallory had the baby. Not mine. Shocked Pikachu face. The actual father was a coworker she'd been seeing for months before our split. They're engaged now. Saw it on social media through a mutual friend. She's posting about how she finally found real love and how her past relationship was toxic and manipulative. Whatever helps her sleep at night. I took a sabbatical and spent 3 months traveling. Visited the town where my biological parents lived. Met their childhood friends, saw their graves. Left flowers and a letter telling them about my life, my adoptive parents, and how I turned out okay. Started dating someone 4 months ago. Her name's Grace. Told her about the whole adoption thing on our 3rd date. Her response? That must have been so hard for all of your parents. How lucky that you were so loved. She's met Patricia, the PI, who I now have coffee with monthly. Patricia says she's never seen a case end this way. Usually it's disappointment or complicated reunions. Not this. The inheritance? Still mostly invested. Used some to start a scholarship fund at my adoptive parents' alma mater for adopted kids going to college. Named it after all 4 of my parents. Mallory reached out once more through a mutual friend. Said she heard about the scholarship and wanted to apologize for everything. The friend said she seemed genuine. I told the friend to tell her I hope she finds peace. Because I have. Finally, the adoption papers I had since childhood had a note from the agency. Your biological parents requested we tell you one thing. You are loved. You are loved. You will always be loved. Turns out they were right. Just took me a while to figure out who really meant it. Thanks for following along. Hug your parents. Biological, adoptive, chosen, or otherwise. The real ones won't care about labels.